Greetings, guys. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Monette, and this is my channel Evolve with Monette. I was doing some meditations and getting ready for my day, and on my screensaver, which I'm going to make the... If you're on this video, you've seen it because I'm going to make it the thumbnail for this video, was a gazelle. And on my screensaver, of course, as all screensavers, it changes all the time. So it could be a place, a destination, food, whatever. But today it was a gazelle, so I knew that was a very potent message of spirit animal, as it's pretty early. You'll see the timestamp, I think, probably some 7 something in the morning Eastern time where I am. Listen, let's talk about what the gazelle means. So if you happen to see it, now you're like, where am I going to see a gazelle? I'm not going to a zoo. Well, just like I did on my screensaver on TV. It could be something that comes across your YouTube feed. You can see a bumper sticker. You can see someone this old Halloween costume. I'm telling you, if you are working with animal totem magic, it will make itself known to you. It doesn't have to walk up to you out of the actual nature in clear blue. So let's talk about it. And even if you don't see it and you're upon this video today, this means it's come into your life in its own special way, and it wants you to pay attention because there's information to be gleaned. Okay, so the gazelle spirit animal provides you with the spice and charisma and charm for conversation. So gazelle would be associated with Geminian energy, which is mercurial. Okay, so that means that you have the gift of gab. The spirit animal helps you to focus more intently and think more quickly so that you can understand the ongoing issues properly and think of ways to solve them. So the gazelle is imbuing you with problem-solving properties. The gazelle, as a spirit animal, symbolizes flexibility, instincts, intuition, defense, awareness as well. And I think that that's all of the, infinity stones that we need as empaths to survive. Literally 5. Repeating again: flexibility, instincts, intuition, defense, and awareness. So when we talk about each one of these, let's get a little bit into this. The gazelle, specifically when you're dealing with intuitive people, people that are connected to the gazelle spirit animal tend to be very intuitive. So this is for calling all empaths, calling all earth angels and light workers. They have a high awareness of their surroundings and can always detect negative energies. I think this is really powerful, and this is really powerful because this was presented to me. So guys, I always say, as I teach as I am called to teach, and I do as I am called to do, but I am here evolving with you. It is my channel's namesake because it is always ever true. I am merely evolving with you. This gazelle popped into my life to inform me of whatever the attributes are, which we'll go through together. And I've already kind of read over them to have an awareness, but that part really stuck out to me, and I highlighted it specifically. It helps you to detect negative energies. Now, I have been in a season in my life in the last few years where I have definitely woken up to my spiritual abilities in almost a shamanistic way, where I am perceiving things that aren't seen and hearing things that people never say. And that's always been my life. That's why I do the work I do as an intuitive empath. It's because I'm able to tap into the deeper part of you and myself as well. But when you have this come up for you guys, it means that you have some negative energies around you. And I know nobody wants to hear that because we're all love and light, but I've spent a lot of time integrating my shadow and making sure that my light stays bright, but my shadow is never something that I run from. By day or by night. It's something that I embrace now, because your shadow gives you a certain edge, and it helps your intuition to be sharp. It helps you to understand that there are bears that would love to eat your heart, and you need to be the person that is your first line of defense. Certainly you have an ancestor team and a spirit team that is going to ride for you, but this is gazelle energy. They sprint so quickly, they are majestic, and they have work to do, and they book it when it's time to get out of there. So when you see this come up, where are you supposed to book it from? Who are you supposed to be running from? What are you supposed to be running to? These are some of the questions that the gazelle presents to you. It helps them to avoid being in an undesirable social setting and flee as soon as they sense drama or evil vibes in their surrounding. You guys understand what's happening here? Guys, I'm going to tell you something. You are dealing with a real situation when the gazelle energy presents itself. And it's a situation and that your angels are saying what we would rather you not do is go through a huge tower moment that completely zaps you of your energy, because we need you to work with a collective, or we need you to be a mom, or we need you to graduate college, or we need you to be on that job because you're the only earth angel that's been dispatched to that location. Like, you have work to do, guys, and I take the work here that we do so seriously, and I know every day can't be about work, but that Virgo in my chart, it certainly affects me. And I understand that we're here not by accident and not coincidentally. When you are caught up and embroiled in people's drama and you have an energy vampire stuck to you, quite literally, last night I was on the phone with my broski, my brother-in-law, and he had a tick on him. He found a tick on him. And so he got all panicked, and his wife like got it off of him, and I checked on him and he was fine. But maybe I should look up the animal totem of a tick as well and do another video about that. But what I'm going to tell you, I think it actually is supposed to be tied into this. Gazelles and ticks. Yeah. You are supposed to be running from a tick. There's someone that's leeching off of you. There's an energy that wants to suck life out of you, that wants to siphon your very life force. And you have to protect your energy. If there's no one around you and you're totally hermited and you're like, I don't know what you are talking about, Monette. I have been on an island by myself. I hate people. I don't talk to anyone. What they're saying is that this is why you're there, because you know how to run. You know how to get out of situations, and you have a mental awareness, okay? So that is exactly what you're supposed to do, is be aware. And that is the next thing that we'll move on to, especially after the drama or sensing evil vibes in their surrounding. When you spend all that time, this was the point I was going to make, like navigating and fighting a tower, it's such a waste of time. When I went through my spiritual warfare several years ago, and my whole kind of tower moment and coming, dark night of the soul, it took me years to get back on track, guys. So for the dummies that attacked me and gang stalked me and all that stuff, it was just a fun thing to do. I was their most favorite thing to do, and the most important thing that ever happened in their life. But I actually have a life, and I have a career, and I have people to connect with, and I have a tribe. They don't understand that. The people in your life that tried you have nothing to lose. They're bored. They're silly. They're amused by drama. That's the only thing they have to fill their life up with. So for them, it was no big deal because they're so toxic. They were mired in that. But for me, as an earth angel with my pretty wings, right, it hurt, and it was a recovery period, and I lost my voice very much like Ariel, and I couldn't sing, I couldn't teach. I was entrenched in the bitterness and feeling defeat. Can anybody relate? Can I get a witness? Who can relate to a tower moment or a betrayal taking you so far off your bloody course, and you're like, how did I get here? And this is why the Gazelle energy is coming to you, because it does not want evil to prevail. And that's it. That part. I need to be sassy about it, because you guys need to understand how much time is wasted when you are dealing with mourning over a man, a woman, a friend, or whatever. If they hurt you, if they burned you, you were supposed to get out of their mama. You're a bad mamma jamma. And they didn't want you to end up in the slammer, is what I heard. So that's why you were supposed to run. The next thing is awareness. Gazelle spirit is very aware of itself. It knows perfectly well their potential. Therefore, having Gazelle as a spirit animal indicates that you're also aware of your authentic self. And you have the ability to showcase your talents in a great way when needed. The ability to showcase your talents in a great way when needed. Also why those evil vibes and hating ass energies were hating, because you know how powerful you are. Sometimes you try to dim your light, empath message, and other people around you can see it, and you need to not be modest about it. That's not the Leo in me is gonna pass that along to you. Modesty that is overused is not something we're going to do. Certainly have a level of humility, and don't indulge in hubris. However, in God we trust, and our empath, intuitive selves we trust too, because you have an intuition and you know what to do, and you know what evil is surrounding you. Now, when they say that the Gazelle is aware of its talents, what is the Gazelle's talent? The ability to go from 0 to 60, 75 in 20 seconds or less. Not even 20 seconds, 5 seconds. A Gazelle will literally sprint away from you while you're still talking to it, and you don't even realize it's left. You're left in its wind and its dust. That's the talent of the Gazelle, is to freaking escape out of shenanigans. Now, you have your own talents, and that's also one of them too. You have the ability to get out of something before the full tower falls, but you are talented in other ways too. Never forget the talent and power that resides in you. That's what the Gazelle's here to tell you as well. Let's carry on. Empathetic. Whenever feeling down, a person with the Gazelle spirit animal will be able to notice your mood first. These people are highly empathetic, thus they are pros at pinpointing the mood of their loved ones or the mood of their friends, and they try to make you feel better if they sense a gloomy aura around you. So we are the uplifters, and that's why you cannot revel in the muck and the dirt with people that want to see you stuck, crying, and hurt. People that are hurt, we all hurt people hurt people. It's let me say it this way. Working with toddlers for many years, as I did, a toddler will want to make you feel how they feel. So they will project their tantrum onto you. And now you're miserable. And now you may not be laying on the ground and kicking and screaming in the store and crying over cookies, but you are off kilter, and it takes you a whole afternoon to reset. I've seen parents have to do it. I, as a teacher, had to learn coping mechanisms on not how to do it, because people will project their BS on you. And if you can view a lot of the narcissists and toxic people in your life as toddlers, not to say that they're harmless and cute. Maybe sometimes they think so, but really they're essentially toddlers in their mentality, and they just want you to not like you as much as they don't like them. In fact, they hate that you like you so much. They hate that you're so talented. They hate that you know how to recover even after they kick you while you're down and try to kick your back in. They hate that you recover every time and that you get better and better and better. But that empathy is part of this Gazelle spirit animal. We intuit and we feel. That's also why our discernment is so real. You get it, guys? So you are able to pick up and able to discern, really, actually, truly discern when danger is around you. Someone could be looking right in your face and smiling, and you know that they're full of shit. And some of the most valiant wins I've had in my life battling low vibrational people, even if they weren't all narcissists, is to just let them have enough rope to hang themselves. I already know the outcome. Not always in every way, because I'm still here, human, evolving with you. So I don't know what everybody exactly is going to do. But my intuition is pretty fine-tuned. And I have a pretty good heads up and inkling, and I clock people right the fuck away. And I want you to be as confident in yourself as when you hear me say that. Right the fuck away, you knew that someone was up to a shenanigan. You knew that someone was up to bullshit. You knew that someone was playing in your face and playing reindeer games with you. Right away. So, you know what to do. But that's because you're empathetic. That means you're sweet too. And that means that people are like, look at that sweet gazelle. It's pretty defenseless. Those horns are pretty. Maybe I'll go after it. I'll eat it. That looks like a tasty snack. They don't realize how you would never sit still long enough for them to properly and truly attack you. You are defensive. On to the next. Perfect segue. Thank you, angels. Sometimes people with the Gazelle animal totem tend to be overly defensive. Hey, heads up, heads up, heads up. Now we're getting into the negative traits. And I know you're like, well, how could I not be overly defensive? They were just trying to get me and kill me, right? And can be closed off with their surroundings. They have a hard time letting stranger into their own natural habitat. It takes quite a while for a Gazelle spirit animal to open up to someone, and I know that that is the truth. It's interesting in the line of work that I do. I have to connect with people quickly, and I freelanced on psychic lines for many years where I had seconds to connect with people, and my livelihood and reviews mattered upon it. They depended upon it. So it's a skill set that I cultivated and developed, which is connecting that quickly and getting in and being able to read very quickly. But it also definitely can affect me negatively when I can be over defensive and highly triggered. Now, the trigger saves my life. It doesn't mean I'm reading it wrong, but it doesn't mean I always get it fully right, because we all sometimes act out of our PTSD, Nine of Wands if you read tarot, the past things that have happened to us, the slights. And yes, it's a data bank, and I teach you guys that. You need to definitely have a data bank of accumulated behavior, because I've had siblings actually treat me terribly, but they were looking at me and saying they love me, and if it weren't for my database that I accumulated dealing with other toxic and low vibrational people, I would have allowed their fuckery. You see what I'm saying? But I was able to check against my database and say, actually, this is what people that are toxic do. So I know what you're saying, that you love me too, but my good sis, my good broski, my good whomever, this is not how you treat me, if that's true. And since you don't know how to treat me, I'm running away from you. Okay? Expeditiously. All right. Depressing is one of the negative traits here to understand. Since they're so closed off and they really feel the need to get to know new people, no new friends. That's my motto for sure. Sometimes their isolation leads to depression. They often think that no one wants to be in their company, which is completely untrue. Now, that's not a feeling I feel. I in my line of work, I'm so certain that people want to be in my company. But I do take moments to hermit and to recharge. I am far more introverted than I actually really thought. I present as charismatic, right? My rising sign is Gemini, so I present, and that's what the world sees you as, right? Leo sun, that's how the world experiences you. But excuse me, your sun is how the world experiences you, but but how people really perceive you is your rising, right? So that means that I'm communicative and have interesting things to talk about and whatever the case may be. But I really could be in a room by myself all day with the door closed happily, and I could be in a house with other people, and I could be in a room with the door closed. And that has been a point of contention for people that I've loved, for people that I've dated. It's a real thing, but it's because that part of me is there, that part of me that can brood. And so if you have Gazelle animal totem, this may be a part of you too. Let's talk a little bit more about this and we'll close it up, guys. Those with a Gazelle as their totem are cunning. And they are smart. Due to their intense curiosity, they frequently learn quite rapidly and continue to be students forever. Guilty as charged. Guilty as charged. I am the perpetual student. I am looking around at a pantheon of books in front of me. You guys can't see it. But I found a new stack today from Dr. Joe Dispenza, and I had manifested this because I've been thinking about him, and my angels were like, you need to start working with Joe Dispenza again. He is the guy that teaches you how to literally transform your mind through meditation by releasing your present self. You guys have seen him and heard about him. He's been around forever. He's best-selling New York Times author, and he's been part of Hay House. I found a completely unopened box set of You Are the Placebo. It's like, I don't even know how I didn't know this was in my house. Like, I've been doing a lot of spring cleaning and stuff lately. I mean, even though it's not spring, I've been doing a lot of purging lately. And I literally was bending down to plug in my laptop so I could get out here and get to work this morning. And I saw this thing in the same place that I stand and bend down to plug in my laptop every day God sends. And it's like my angels or a fairy maybe dropped it off for me because it's time to evolve and literally change my brain chemistry. Again, I am the perpetual student. I love learning. In fact, when they talk about doing it quite rapidly, a little tip for those of you YouTube junkies, guilty as charged like me, put everything on 2 times or at least 1.5. You can change your speed settings in the corner, okay? I wouldn't even listen to me slow. Y'all, are you listening to me slow? I know I talk fast, but are you listening to me slow? That's not the way to go. I consume so much content and I take in so much information from fantastic teachers to brainless activity as well, right? Veg out activity. But I can't listen to it at normal speed. It's got to be at least at a 1.5. 1.75 is my real zone. But 2.0 if I gotta go, okay? That's Gazelle energy, just in case you want to know. So speed up your stuff. You just learn so much faster. It reminds me of what I'm channeling right now is the movie, Scarlett Johansson's in it. God, what's her name? You guys are saying it, someone's screaming it at the screen, but she just like ingests all of this information and she's like learning everything all at once. That part, that's what I love to do. And if you have Gazelle energy, then you do too. If it's your birth animal, you may occasionally sacrifice your own needs to satisfy others. People pleasers unite. It's not a coincidence. They showed this to me this morning. This is something that I work on every single day, is how to not people please and let everyone else around me have their way. I work on it every single day. Sometimes I'll catch myself because here's the thing about us sweet gazelles. When we care about someone or when we love them, we want them to be well. We want them to be loved or fed or whatever our love language is, right? And sometimes you have to stand up for yourself, sis, and be like, what about me? what the actual F about me? That part. So that's a place with the people pleasing that is tough. And we are always constantly working on stepping out of that because we have been so indoctrinated, especially in our matriarchy, by patriarchy, to be always giving of ourselves to everybody else. And that's why I have no problem shutting a door and being by myself, because what people everyone may want a piece of you if you are a gazelle energy or you're an empath listening and you've never related to being a gazelle energy. A lot of people take little chunks and bites out of you. So what happens, like piranhas? What happens at the end of the like piranhas? What happens at the end of the day when you have nothing left for you? That's why I want to talk to you about this and really ask you, how are you managing this? Because you can't just be endlessly giving it out. And I now have become a lot more unapologetic about resting or escaping or being like, no, I can't. I don't have anything to give. Right now, my assignment is this, and I've got to focus on this. Or if it's love, I focus on love. Or if it's health, I focus on health. But my pivots are extreme. Can anybody else relate to that? I do much better that way, to be very, myopically focused on one thing. And then if I'm not seeing results in an area, I'm like, okay, pivot next. And well, here's a place where I always get results. It's with the collective and it's with work. So that's the place where that's my comfort zone, I will say for sure. But in any case, don't overgive. That's the message. So before you start volunteering for someone else, it's crucial to you expand your vocabulary to learn the word no. My name is no. My number is no. A keen sense of smell is a component energy of the gazelle spirit animal. You may linger for hours at the cologne or perfume store. You might even attempt crafting some of your own. This capacity of this talent is limitless. You can even use this sense when there is danger nearby. Now, there are all kinds of studies about how we can smell pheromones, like we perceive pheromones and smell pheromones. So literally, that's what animals do. There are pheromones that are emitted, and they can tell when an animal's in fear. That's how they know when to pounce or whatever. They can tell when someone's not feeling right. And we as humans have the same ability to perceive and smell and kind of like figure out that energy. So that's a little interesting tidbit. Now, here's the funny thing. I'm all about a smell. I'm all about smelling a certain way. I'm all about my showers, and specifically what I use several things in my showers. Like, I need to have an experience at every turn. Even before I come out here to work with you guys, none of you guys can smell me. There is no smell-o-vision, but I spray perfume every single time. And my husband says to me one time, he was like, you know that your clients on YouTube can't smell you, right? But it makes me feel complete. It means that I've like properly been dressed, because you're never fully dressed without a smile. But for me, you're never fully dressed unless you use some dial, not necessarily just dial, but soap and some perfume. Do that for you, because I'm out here, so I want to smell good for me, because I start talking and I get a little warm and I want that effervescence of a smell. So I didn't realize that could be associated with the gazelle, but hey, we learn something new every day. It was 22:44 on the clock, and you know what's so funny? My angels are so funny. They're like, they want me to move on. What I have coming up here in the lesson plan, y'all, I can't. What I have coming up here today for you, as I've been planning, is a bunch of angel numbers, and one of the angel numbers is 2244, and that was literally my angel's way of being like, all right, enough time on the gazelle, time to get on to the other assignments we have for you today. So, gazelles are efficient. Let's see what else there is to take. Sometimes you need to slow down, is what they're saying as well. Sometimes you need to slow down. When the gazelle animal totem is around and it shows up, it means you move quickly and rapidly. One wonders whether you ever take a break, because when we are working, we're working. Like I just said, my comfort zone is my work, right? My work has always paid me back with the most amazing dividends. The connections I've made with you, the tribe members I've met, the fairies, jinns, and mermaids that I encounter, the other sage teachers and shamans, the high priestesses that I run into, the gold star clients. I love you. I'm so grateful for each one of you. You each enhanced my life, and that's as a measure of my work. Had I not worked, I would have never met my tribe. Now, that may not be the same for all of you, but do not feel guilty, because there is work to do, because there's always going to be work to do. So, you can invoke the gazelle if you feel disoriented or intimidated by an unexpected situation or person. It will help to give you courage and help help you to find your path. So you can do it during a meditation. You can just imagine its majesty standing by your side and guiding you in the right direction. Additionally, you can put out some figurines, pictures in your wallet, put it on your cell phone. That was what I was going to suggest. A screenshot, a gazelle. So let's say you're like, okay, Monat, today gazelle's my totem. I'm never going to see one. So you can bring it into you and just have that screenshot as your screensaver or whatever so that you can see it. When you require their abilities in times of adversity, other individuals write them letters or give them a call, which I think is lovely. I do that with all of my animal totems. I will literally write them a gift, a gratitude note, like a thank you note. Like if they show up for me and they really help me, like snakes were one of the animal totems that showed up for me when I was in my dark night of the soul and I was dealing with like some gang stalking ass narcissist, and snakes came in and they were like, hey C's, we're just here to tell you that these two hoes is crazy. That part. So I really appreciated them, and I write thank you notes. When ants have shown up for me, I write them thank you notes. Years and years and years ago, before I even understood this stuff, I've always been guided to say thank you because they came and they helped me with energy, and I understood, oh, this is what you were here to do. This is what you wanted me to see. Let's see what else is here. Your gazelle will let you know that it's heard your call for assistance by making various appearances on your route. It's the most direct method of establishing connection between our awareness and the spiritual realm is coming to you in a dream most often. So in your dreams, and it will help you with your current circumstances. Additionally, it will reveal itself through strange coincidences, like it being on my screensaver today, as a method of letting you know that something is there. You can hear its name numerous times during the day or unexpectedly see its image. Of course, the animal may appear in real form in everyday life, especially if you're at a zoo. So here's how you understand. It's trying to communicate to help you by appearing in your life. So think about whatever circumstance that you're facing. Pay a lot of attention to that. See what you're having trouble with getting through and what you are unsure of. Then decide if the spirit's animal can actually help you. So that's it. When we talk about animal totems, people get really distracted. They're like, what do I have to do? And do I gotta pet the thing that I'm terrified of? Because sometimes insects are animal totems. No, you just have to say thank you. I don't want you close, because like my bestie hates snakes, so she wouldn't be like cuddling up to a snake. I am not terrified of snakes. I'm okay with them. I get them. I understand them. Now if it was spiders, it's a different story, okay? But I still had to make peace with spiders in my shamanistic journey. Very specifically, if you haven't seen the video, scroll down to my community page. Shiva, Shakti, and spiders. Also, what's interesting is Shiva, they're so funny. Shiva is associated with gazelles. I was reading some of the lore. Shiva, the lord of animals, Shiva is an East Indian god, appears in several folk tales. Gazelle is one of its forms. Protection, perception, olfactory senses, sense of smell, sensations, mobility, endurance, defense, communication, awareness, alertness, quickness, and atonement are among the traits that are associated and that are key words. So what they did in some of the ceremonies is they would use the horns of the gazelle because it was thought to be a magical animal. So they would take the horns, and several tribes nationwide have used it as medicine. So for instance, the gazelle, though endangered, is highly valued, especially in Chinese medicine. According to the legend, the horns may treat illness like fevers, rashes, so any kind of inflammation. So anybody that's getting under your skin, so even though I'm not telling you to go out and get gazelle horns, but in theory, theoretically, metaphysically, metaphorically, the gazelle energy is there to heal inflammation, to reduce an irritant. Something is irritating you. So everything connected to blood circulation. People also think that the horn has aphrodisiac properties. So who needs to get laid? Gazelle. I was like, get on your knees. Hey. So in Vedic India, the gazelle is also referred to as the moon god's chariot. Okay, so the moon god's chariot. So if you want to say thank you to a gazelle with a thank you note, you could do it on a new moon or a full moon ceremony and ask it to bring in new things or help you to release things and get away from things. Anyway, guys, that's enough time for this. We have so many other things to get to today. Thank you for sharing energy with me. Now be on your happy gazelle way. I was going to say merry, happy, whatever. Be on your bouncing, sprinting, actually fast, amazing, getting away from danger, smelling, sensing danger, gazelle way. That's your animal totem message for today. So good sharing energy with you guys. Come back and join me next time. We'll continue to evolve together.